Welcome back to Mid-East In Depth. In today's In Depth, we look at post-Charlie Hebdo attacks in Paris, and we look at certain misconceptions about politics and Islam. Memphis Barker asks in The Independent, is political Islam responsible for the cancer of jihad? Barker comments that the two share some goals. The Tunisian Islamist party Ennahda used their time in office, which started in 2011 and ended last year, to open the way for more Sharia law. In Egypt, the Muslim Brotherhood did likewise. He states this has led some to the conclusion that political Islam and radical Islamist groups are not worth the effort of telling apart. However, he explains that this is in fact a grand mistake. It is nevertheless one being made by rulers across the Middle East, with little protest from Europe and the US. 3 of the Arab statesmen who appeared at the anti-terror rally in France from Egypt, Saudi Arabia and the UAE were representing regimes that have recently labelled the Muslim Brotherhood a terrorist organisation and put those who support it in jail. He continues, these regimes will now be able to claim the West stands beside them in their campaign against terrorism at home. He asserts that millions around the Middle East still do and would support a political Islam. He asks, are they more likely to turn away from democracy and possibly towards jihad if they see that the only state that supports their right to exist is the so-called Islamic State? Yes. He concludes the West should do what it can to engage with its Middle Eastern leaders, no matter how tectonically their vision of society differs from our own. In the Deutsche Welle, Ben Knight explains why the society prescribed in the Quran is closer to Western democracy than the Saudi dictatorship. Knight refers to a study by 2 Iranian-born academics at George Washington University in the US, which states that the socio-economic systems in most Western European countries were closer to the systems prescribed in the Quran than almost any other country with Muslim majorities. He explains the result of the study was that the society the Quran offered was essentially a social economy with a rule of law, not unlike the Christian social democracies across Western Europe. He adds, the study could not be further from what most Western Europeans think of Islam, particularly in Germany, where weekly demonstrations in Dresden and elsewhere have been protesting what they consider the Islamicization of the West. A new survey published a day after Charlie Hebdo atrocities in France found that Germans have rarely been more distrustful of Islam. According to the Bertelsmann Foundation study, 57% of Germans see Islam as a threat, while 24% would like to see Muslims prevented from migrating into the country altogether. He concludes by citing one of the academics involved in the study, Hossein Askari. The religion was basically hijacked after the death of the Prophet, because if you look at things he talked about, they are not practiced in these countries. They need to change and create better economic systems. The Prophet said that if you have poverty in a society, that by definition is not an Islamic society. For more updates, please visit levant.tv. And subscribe to Mideast In Depth on iTunes. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.